Hi everyone. Today I am excited to share with you the story of our transitions from transitional cloud services to the serverless architectures and a journey that not only simplified our operational but also delivered real and measurable benefits. Our shift to serverless was not just about keeping up with the technology trends. It was driven by the need of tackle complexity, reduce cost, and accelerate our development process. Along the way, we experience a significant cost saving and a drastic reduction in incident and a boost in our deployment frequency also. In the next few slides, I will talk you through the key challenges we faced and how we implemented serverless solutions and the impact it had on our cost and incident management and overall developer productivity. Let's dive in. Let's move to the second slide. Okay. So, in this slide, our initial infrastructure challenges, that is what I am just going to discuss all about. So, at the outset, we are facing mounting challenges with our traditional infrastructures. So, as our business grow, did our infrastructure expenses. Unfortunately, these costs were growing than our actual business needs. So, underutilized servers were draining resources and leading to the inefficiency and unnecessary expenses. So our team were spending an overwhelming amount of time managing the servers and infrastructures, those type of things. And this constant operational took focus away from what truly mattered and core innovations and building new features for our users. Now, our traditional architectures was simply not built to handle sudden traffic spikes. So these limitations caused the significant issues, including the customer facing failures, which impacted user experience and trust. So these challenges made it clear that we need the change. Okay. So if now let's move to the third slide. So here I'll be discussing like why we choose the serverless. So there are a couple of reasons. Like we choose serverless as a strategic force multipliers, not because it's a one size fits all solution, but because it gives us a distinct advantage in terms of speeds, efficiency, and scalability. By adopting serverless, our engineers and can focus on building features and solving a business problem instead of spending time on managing and maintaining infrastructures. Serverless architectures automatically scales to meet traffic demands, ensuring the optimal resource utilizations without manual intervention. Now, pay-per-use models in these sections, like with the serverless, we only pay the actual compute resource use. So that is the most important thing, which provides the cost efficiency and reduce the need of over provisioning. And these combinations of agility and the cost effectiveness and the scalability made serverless the right choice for our needs. Yeah. Here I'll be discussing about the what the technical approaches we took, and because the initial project I actually took we had decided to go with the AWS services. So to address our challenges, we had to the AWS suite of powerful list services. So the services like AWS Lambda, the core compute service for running our business logic in a serverless environment. Lambda allows us to execute the code without managing the servers, automatically scaling based on the demands. And another one like the DynamoDB, that is another service we choose. It is a fully managed NoSQL database with auto scaling capabilities. DynamoDB adjusts to traffic changes in real time, ensuring that high availability and the performance and seamless data management also. And another thing is like a API gateway, which is a fully managed service for creating and managing and securing the API endpoints at scale. API gateway simplifies API deployment, allowing us to connect our front end and back end services effortlessly. Another one like the S3. S3 is another major component like when we are driving through any development cycle or any applications to store the data. So highly durable object storage for the static assets and the data. AWS S3 provides reliability and the cost-effective storage for everything from image to backup, ensuring the seamless data retrieval and the scalability. Another important thing is the CloudWatch logs. So a monitoring and logging service that helps us to track and analyze the log data in a real time. CloudWatch provides insights into the system performance and operational health, enabling us to detect the issues early and optimize our infrastructure. So it is a really very important component to choose, like for the logging purpose. Another one, like though it is not mentioned here, but there are a couple of other components like the secret manager, which is a service to secure, store, manage sensitive informations like the API keys, credentials, and other secrets. Secret manager helps us to ensure the sensitivity data in securely handled without the risk of exposure. And for containerization, the applications we use the Docker to ensure the consistency across the environments, and Kubernetes, specifically the Amazon Elastic Kubernetes service, like it is called like EKS, allows us to scale and manage microservices efficiently. Together, these services enable us to build flexibility and reliable serverless architectures. With these services in place, we were able to achieve the scalability and the efficiency of what we needed. Let's move to the next one. And here I'll be discussing regarding overcoming initial resistance, like any major change, we face some resistance along the way. So many engineers initially doubted that the real world benefits and the serverless architecture. So there were the concern about the performance, scalability, and the potential risk of moving away from the traditional infrastructure. To address this concern, we conducted a couple of workshops, proof of concepts like POC projects, and this hands-on demonstration actually helped the team to see the practical value of serverless and providing the clarity and how it could solve our challenges. Now we identified the supported and early adopters within the teams who embraced serverless and the serverless and showcased successful implementations. Their positive experience helped building confidence across the organizations. And then finally, we use the metrics to validate the business impact of the serverless transitions, and data on cost saving, incident reduction, and improved deployment frequency provided concrete evidence of benefits. So over the time, this helped shift the mindset across the team and build strong support for our serverless journey. Let's move to the next. Our implementation strategy was a step-by-step process to ensure a smooth transition, actually. So the first step was to break down our monolithic applications into the smaller application functions size pieces. By identifying key components, we were able to transition a more modular and scalable architecture. So that is the first point we took it. And then the pilot project, like we began by launching the pilot project with non-critical workloads. And this allowed us to experiment and refine our serverless approach without risking core operations while also gaining valuable insight for larger implementations. Our next step was to refactor existing applications to make them stateless, ensure they were like optimized for serverless executions. This process involved adapting our code and workflows to align with the serverless model. And again, like another one, like the CI/CD pipeline to ensure the smooth deployment, we focused on building the optimized serverless specific CI/CD pipelines. This allowed for a continuous integration and delivery tailored for a serverless environment, enabling fast and reliable updates. This strategy allowed us actually to success and scale progressively and ensure the transition was as seamless as possible. Moving to the next, yeah. As with the complex system, observability become a significant challenge, and this distributed tracing across the multiple serverless functions was inherently more complex, and the execution context for each functions was more limited, making it harder to gather detailed insights. We also had to contend with unpredictable cold start latency, with impacted performance as well as highly variable resource consumptions, making consistent monitoring and difficulties. To tackle these challenges, we implemented several keys of solutions. Like first, we introduced end-to-end correlation ID to track the request across the functions, providing a full view of each request journey. And we then deployed the centralized logging with structured data, ensuring we could capture and analyze log effectively. Custom function specific dashboards allowed us to monitor performance on a granular level, and a dynamic alerting based on the statistical baselines helped us to detect issues early. Today, our sophisticated monitoring infrastructure provides the comprehensive visibility into our serverless ecosystem and allowing us to proactive detect issues and resolve them rapidly, ensuring a smooth and efficient operations. Now, here to ensure our serverless journey remain cost effective, and we implemented several key of cost optimization strategies. Right size function resources is one of them. Memory allocation has a direct impact on both performance and cost. To optimize this, we implemented automated testing to determine the optimum memory settings for each functions and ensuring that we are using the resources efficiently without our provisioning. And another one like a optimized cold starts, and like cold start latencies can significantly affect the performance, especially during traffic spike. So to mitigate this, we reduced the size of our deployment package and implemented the provision concurrency for critical paths. This strategy ensured the minimum cold start impact even during the traffic functionalities and all. And monitoring the execution durations by closely, we were able to identify the functions approaching timeout thresholds. This proactive monitoring prevent costly timeout loops and helped us to avoid the execution inefficiencies and saving both time and money. And we introduced the tagging standards and deployment policies to keep our serverless architecture organized and avoid unnecessary resources. The governance ensured that less resources were used strategically and that the infrastructure remained manageable and cost effective. Together, these strategies allowed us to optimize both performance and cost across our serverless architecture. Yeah. So this slide will discuss about the measurable result. Yes. And looking at the result, our serverless transitions, we have some truly impactful outcomes. So we successfully decreased our infrastructure expenses by 62%, and thanks to the efficiency of serverless architecture and optimized use of resources. Now, operational failure were reduced by 78%, leading to a more reliable and stable environment. So, with few disruptions to our services and customer experience. And our deployment frequency increased by 3.5 times, enabling faster iterations and more frequent releases, driving innovations and improvement for our users, and which is a big achievement. Developer satisfaction increased actually to 94%. And as the team spent more time focusing on building the features, less on managing infrastructure, contributing to improved user experience and productivity. So these results actually highlight that the tangible benefits of serverless, both in terms of cost and in terms of productivity as well. Yeah. So as we reflect on our serverless journey, we have learned a few keys of lessons. So the flexibility of serverless architecture was allowed us to adapt quickly to changing business needed. We have learned that this agility is a key of staying competitive in a fast and paced environment. Serverless is not only one-time solutions. We are constantly iterating on architecture and process, ensuring that we are always optimizing performance, cost, and efficiency. By freeing up the resource from infrastructure management, our teams have been able to focus more on product development and innovations, which is driving the future of our business. And looking ahead, we plan to extend our serverless architecture to more workloads, continuing refining our monitoring systems as well, and explore new AWS services that can drive even more efficiencies and capabilities. So the journey is from over, and the future looks bright, I think. Now, as we continue our serverless journey, I want to provide the resources to help you on our own path. It would be like the next step as well. Access to our comprehensive serverless templates and architectures, patterns. These resources provide a solid foundations for your own serverless implementation and saving your time and effort. And reviewing our architecture decisions and we made throughout the journey, these records will help to guide your decision making process and provide insight into the challenges we overcome. And use open source utilities to test and the benchmark performance. So that is mostly important thing. And these tools are designed to help and you measure the efficiency of your serverless architecture and optimize it for your own needs. Join these channels, what I mentioned here, and to connect with experts and peer who can actually provide the valuable implementation advice and share best practices and collaborate and ask the questions and learn from others in the community. And same thing I actually followed like during my entire journey. And these resources are here to help you help you and succeed. And I also look forward to supporting your this endeavor in future. If you want, that's fine, you can contact me. Okay. And so I appreciate your time and attention today. I hope my journey has inspired you to explore the power and serverless architecture and for your own project. If you have any questions, if you want to learn more, feel free to reach out to me. And I have my contact information and LinkedIn here, so you can message me anytime. I will respond as per my time. Thank you so much.